Hello, my dear friends. Welcome again to another series of thoughts and reflections here in our YouTube channel. Salamat gid sa inyo nga padayon nga pagtan-aw sa akong mga videos kag kabay pa nga you share the videos also to other people and ask them to subscribe to this channel and follow this channel. Our topic for this series will focus on the various, what we call in, this is a Jewish thoughts on the various pathways of the soul, or as they said, the curriculum of the soul. Pero sa ato ng mga Kristiyanos, these are actually all about the virtues or the values that we need to develop in ourselves. So different names, different way of describing, but basically giving us a perspective on how to become a good person, a good Christian in our case, by developing these various virtues, or shall we say, as in the theology, the spiritual perfection. For today, we are going to discuss about humility. Kapati naman kamo sina isang mga halambalanon halin sa una nga ang atong mga church fathers and mothers, as well as those who are saints and even the mga tigulang naton, naghahambal nga the queen of all sin is pride, while the queen of all virtues is humility. Humility is the queen of all virtues. Kung wala ka sang humility, your other virtues may be questionable. Kaamo man na, no, sa on the other hand, ang tao kagto sa sala, sa bisyo or vice, precisely because of pride. And in our Catholic theology, atong ginahambal nga si Adam kag si Eve fell into that sin of pride, which opens up other sins. No? So, pride is the queen of all vices, and humility is the queen of all virtues. So, we will be talking today about humility. What is humility? Tilay na siya nga pag-inchindi kag tungkad kung anong butsilingon sa tawag nga humility. In the Jewish thoughts that I was saying, ang ilang pagtaas ng humility is occupying your rightful place, neither too much nor too little. Focusing neither on one's own virtues or the fault of others. Amo nang ilang nga pagtanaw sang humility. It is more about occupying what is rightfully yours. Kagisa kita, no? Kisa meron kita nga idea na humility is equal to humiliation. Lain na siya, yeah. Ang humility is not humiliation. What is humiliation? Nang self-debasement. No? You consider yourself worthless. And by considering yourself worthless, you think that is humility, but that is not according to the Jewish thoughts. Ang ilaya is, humility is to be able to occupy one's own rightful place, neither too much nor too little. Generally kita nga tao, ang aton nga aton nga batasan, we have this behavior of fault finding, no? Napira nyo na, mahilig kita magtanaw sang kasalanan sa iban. Nga ahaw, why do you think that we always think of the fault of others? Because whenever we, for example, gossip, nga mahilig kita mag-kutso-kutso, of course na may ka-entertainar ikaw, pero other than that, in terms of virtues naman niya, is because we are trying to find faults in other people so that we can become, or rather we can feel better than the rest, no? Bagitaan sa sala. Kag spiritually, the effect to us is that I find myself better than them, no? I think one of the beautiful I don't know kung poem siya, one of the Pero though free verse lang siya nga poem, no, is Desiderata. I really love that Desiderata, and maybe if you have time, you can read it or watch it sa internet. You can Google it anytime. Desiderata. It's really lovely. It gives you a perspective of how it is to be virtuous, yeah, in that sense naman, yeah, without sounding religious, of course, no. So Desiderata, maybe you can open it up later after the video. So according to this writings in Shevon Hanafesh, it says that generally man finds his delight in examining his own virtues, in discovering even the smallest of his positive attributes, and the most minute faults of his friends. Naman na primi nga katabo sa aton. Makita tayo ang aton nga pinakagamay nga virtues, pero makita tayo sa aton nga nga isiga tao ang pinakagamay nilang sala. And then we make a mountain out of an ant hill, no? Ginapadako tayo. Mamo ginato style. Gamay lang kalaro man isa sa atong mga interactions with people. Gamay lang sa inubrahan nila. Pero kung mag-project sila, doon sila nag-ubras ng tanan. Pero sa totoo, ba niya sila inubrahan? Dason, kung may sala gani, ang sala sa iban, among ila tumuron, kag hindi ila sala, nga dako-dako pag ganing ila sala, sa sala sa iban. Yan. So that is, that is a human behavior that needs to be rectified. According to Shesbon Hanafesh, why is it that we are doing this? Because we can find reason to be proud even in the company of great ones whose little fingers are thicker than his loins. Sayo ron, kay para ma-feel na to nga, sometimes, hindi kita mauli sa kalibutan. So, in that sense now, how do we find humility? What is humility? Humility is not taking too much space, neither taking too little space. Amo na siya. Is klaro is na hambal ko kagina, na if you're getting too much space, occupying too much space, you're becoming arrogant. On the other hand, if you're occupying too little space, you are debasing yourself. It is humiliation rather than humility. I think in the old, in theology, we call this false humility. Naman lang, false, no? Wala pero gusto man. No? So, amo na ba ni Jesus, I remember now, ang siling ni Jesus, I think it's part of humility. If you mean to say yes, say yes. If you mean to say no, say no. Kaya kita mo na ba kung mauya-huya kita, huya-huya. Well, natural sa itong mga Pilipinos nga, we are in a culture of hiya, no? But kung kisa man, duha man kisa, gaswing man ang pendulum, kisa, we are in a culture of walang hiya. So sometimes it has already gone from one end to another end, no? Sa una, we have the culture of hiya. Kung magsulod ka sa isa ka balay, do not act as if you own the house, no? If you are in a party, do not act as if you are the guest of honor. So subong niya, when you enter the house, you feel as if it is your house. Kung nga sa party, you think that it is your party. See, ang aton self, the ego, is almost similar to a tire. Daw guma bala sa salakyan. Kung ang guma sa salakyan, too little air, if there's too little air in the tires of the car, what will happen? Dinami. Pero kung naman sa inflate ang imo ego, ano naman tabo, hindi man nami. Kung taman naman ang hangin, kaundag man ang salakyan. So, kinahanglan balance. Balance siya. Okay. Pero, in the Jewish thoughts, it is more than just balance. It is actually taking your rightful place. So, what do you mean of taking rightful place? It is to take responsibilities. There's a story here. I don't know if you can, what do you call this one? If you can resonate with this, because this is a little bit more of a Jewish a legend rather than a Christian legend. So we have here two important characters, Bar Kamsa, and then we have Rabbi Zechariah ben Abkulas. So two characters. Bar Kamsa is actually a, shall we say, sa kwan, ano man sa aton man, kung sa una sa chimpo sa mga Hapon, mga kwan sila nag-apin sa mga Hapon. Sa chimpo nila sa istorya, mga Romanhon nag-conquer sang Israel. Di si Bar Kamsa nag-ano siya, he sided with the Romans. Si Rabbi Zechariah bin Abkulas, lain na kuan siya, he is part of the Sanhedrin in the temple administration. Si Bar Kamsa, he was feel offended in some ways, no, by the temple management. And so he went to the Romans and designed a kind of setup. Ano nga setup? Gusto niya nga gubon sa mga Romanhon ang templo. So, hambal ni Bar Kamsa sa mga Romans, why don't you send a sheep to be offered to the temple? Kaya kabalo si Bar Kamsa nga, if the temple administrators would refuse to accept the sacrifice, the Romans will get angry and they will see it as rebellion. So, amo nang plot ni Bar Kamsa. Para mapasigurado ni Bar Kamsa nga hindi pagbatunon sa mga pari sa templo ang sheep, ang karnero, he made sure to choose a sheep that has a blemish. Di ba lamos sa kinana kung mag-offer ka sa temple ya, perfect ang sapat. Wala sang blemishes, wala sang mga katul-katul o mga defects. Now, he chose a sheep nga ang blemish is negligible in the eyes of the Romans. Nga hindi matpiran sa mga Romanhon. Kung tanaw nila, di ko kanami man, do perfecto man. But he knew that the keen eyes of the priests in the temple were able to detect it. No? It is too small for the Romans to detect, but it is already enough for the Jewish authorities to distinguish and to know nga may ara gali nga defect ang ina nga sapat. And so the Romans sent the sheep to the temple. Pag-abot sa templo, ang mga pare dito na-realize na ay may blemish. Pero they also realize that it is a trap. So, what is the action that they're going to take? Siling sa mga pare, i-offer na lang na. Okay, para we will not give any reason for Bar Kamsa to incite the Romans to destroy the temple. Pero this Rabbi, Zechariah bin Abkulas, siling niya, if we will do so, we will have, or rather we will give an impression to the people that those who offer sacrifices with blemishes is okay. Nan, manamba ni Rabbi Zechariah. Kung i-offer ta ni karon, basi ma-think ang mga tao, maminsar sila nga okay lang nga mag-offer sang sapat sa Dios nga may defect. Te, ano hambal sang mga pare ng iban? Ati, kung mag-amusin na, okay, let us kill Bar Kamsa. Kasi naman si Rabbi ben Zechariah, Zechariah ben Abkulas. Sila niya, if we will kill Bar Kamsa, what will happen is, we will give the impression that those who offer blemish sacrifices will be killed. Tamaan ka, Kwan. Tamaan ka humble according to the Jewish, no? So, therefore, because both actions were unacceptable, they are unwilling to take an action, the Bar Kamsa succeeded in his plan and Romans destroyed the temple. And the Talmud concludes this. The humility of Rabbi Zechariah ben Abkulas caused the loss of our home, the burning of our temple, and our exile from the land of Israel. You see, if you notice here, there is no understanding that the statement in any way that we usually define the term humility. So, hindi siya usual na itong definitions ng humility, no? Yung humility, lain niya ato nga mind niya. Pero, in this story, the unwillingness to take responsibility, to take the right action, is actually considered part of the discourse on humility. And because of this, there, with what we can see here, what we can say here is that Rabbi Zechariah manifested too much humility because he shrunk from the task he had been handed. So, para sa iya, para sa Talmud, what Rabbi Zechariah ben Abkulas showed is having too much humility, that it is actually not occupying the rightful place, no? So how do we occupy our rightful place? And this is a beautiful parable again from the Jewish thoughts. Ang ilayaan mo sa niyo, a person who occupies his proper seat opens up the space for others. Yan. Ang mga namin, no? Ang example gani diri nila sa sinaguga. Siling nila, ang matutuod nga humble nga tawo, nagapungko siya sa lugar sa sinaguga nga dira siya permi nagapungko. Hindi bala no nga. Oh. Kay sa aton di kisaya ko mapungko gani sa musiga do siya tag iyas lang kwanya ko. Sang siya da siya permi gapungko ya. Alin sa una, may titulo na nila siya sa plungkuan. Well, maybe because we have a different way of looking at it. Pero yeah, para sa mga Hudyo, ang tao nga nagapungko sa isa ka lugar sa sinaguga nga dira siya permi nagapungko is actually a humble man. Why is it so? Because by sitting in that place, he opens up the spaces for others. Yan. I don't know if you can get the what they call this one, the nuance of that. Pero correct magi siya, no? If we keep on transferring from one place to another, we are actually denying other people their own choices. Kaya nga, they'll never know kung sino ang pungko da. Not especially before example ko may meeting be. Dito sa permi kay mo saylo, hindi ka kabalo kung ano gibala din basta mapungko. Hindi pungko. Pero kung andan ka dira natin, iyan na pungkuan na kita, the rest we can just choose. And the same is true for the rest. Yan. In other words, you just occupy your rightful place. It is humility because you open up spaces for others. Okay, so that's, I think, is humility in the Jewish thoughts. We can maybe next time I will elaborate more on this idea of humility, but maybe also next week another virtue we will discuss, and that is patience. Pero as a summary, humility, or avana in Hebrew, is actually occupying your rightful place. I mean, not having too much space nor too little, but just enough. And in that way, the same thing also, not shrinking away from responsibilities that is given to you, but not also trespassing on things that is not given to you. Okay, arrogance naman na, and conceit. So, sa Ilonggo, I think may ara kita sina nga kwan nga hulubato, no? Kwaon mo la at hindi mo hulubato, but more or less the same thoughts nga gasilinga. You just take what you can eat. For example, kwaan lang ang pagkaon. Of course, may ara ilabo sa greed. Kwaan lang pagkaon nga hindi, sorry. That's another parable. This is a negative way of expressing this. Wala siya katapos ang iya nga sinamuan. Hanan, yan. I think that's the better Ilonggo version of this idea of humility. Yeah, pero negative siya ya. Ano ba silingon? Ang tao nga wala nakatapos niya sinamuan. He doesn't know how to occupy his rightful place, and he doesn't have a good assessment of himself. Take it tungod nga abi mo nami ka gid, gali hindi magigali. Oh, abi mo sagad ka na gid pero hindi magigali. Tinungga mo why ka tapos sa imo nga sinamuan kay because you are a proud or a conceited or an arrogant man. Pero a humble man naman on the other hand is not the one nga hindi lang siya magbaton. For example, kabalo ka lang ka sagad kada mag-ubra sang lettering or sa mga color that mag-design, hindi kaya nga mapahumble ka. That's false humility. A humble person knows what he can do, and he will not shrink or go away from that responsibility, but rather he will give his best in doing what is asked of him. Thank you very much. See you again next time.